Welcome to Top Hill Recording Podcast, the podcast where we ask a band and artists to come in, give us 4 original tunes. We sit, we talk about those tunes. And the origin story tonight, because we have a first-time guest. Our guest tonight, Jordan Wilson Coalition.
like that dress, red like your lips, red like the paint on your fingertips. Alright, red like fire, rising above, red like passion, baby, red like my love.
So good. What could I say? What do you wanna hear? Should I tell you that your aura's blazing bright, that it draws me near? 'Cause I've got a thing for you, babe. I've got a thing for you, babe. I've got a thing for you, babe. And I don't know what to The stars, they just spoke to me. They've aligned, said we're meant to be. Ooh, I hope I get the chance to steal one moment, to steal one glance. I've got a thing for you, baby. I've got a thing for you, babe. I've got a thing
I've got a thing for you, baby. It's true, baby. I've got a thing for you, baby. And I don't know what to do. 2, 3, 4. I want you now. I've earned the right to be selfish. I want you now. I've earned the right to be selfish. It's written in the stars. Everybody knows it anyway. Let's love all night, baby. We can sleep all day. I want you now. I took the right to be selfish. I want you now. I took the right to be selfish. I'm a dancer to your rhythm. I'm an actor in your play. Let's love all night, baby. We can sleep all day. I want you. I want you now. I took the right to be selfish. I want you now. I took the right to be selfish. I'm a dancer to your rhythm. I'm an actor in your play. Let's love all night, baby. We can sleep all day.
How's it going, buddy?
Oh, doing good. Happy to be here. Thank you.
Hey, Jordan Wilson and Woody, by the way.
Hello. It's good to be here.
Buddy, how you been?
Man, awesome.
Been a while. I'm glad to have
Yeah.
you back.
Just rocking and rolling. It's good to be back. Thank
Yeah,
you.
man. Well, here's the thing. When I see Woody, I know that whoever's coming behind that is going to be badass. And tonight, we did not fail. Jordan, man, came in, killer songs. I got to listen to a lot of the stuff in the past week. And, coming in, we thought we had full band. We ended up having you guys come in. And it was just, it was killer, man. It was awesome what you guys did in the room, between the tunes and the space. I mean, dude, it just sounded really, really good. So
thank you. We don't get a chance to for Woody and I just to do duo stuff that often. So it was a lot of fun. Then we got to do something once last year and over in Madison, and so it's always fun.
Cool.
That was fun. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Madison, where you're out of now.
Mm-hmm.
I know we like to go back for our first time guests to kind of get the real deal origin story. I think you were born in Cincy.
Yeah, born in Cincinnati. My maternal grandmother has lived in Cincinnati, since the 70s, and my father's side of the family is from Cincinnati, so born there, and then raised back home where my mom's from, Carrollton, Kentucky, Carroll County, and
All right.
so on my Instagram I have Cincy born, Kentucky raised, currently Indiana living, so been all over the tri-state.
No kidding, dude. You nailed the whole circuit here.
Yeah.
So, famously, just anytime I think Carroll County, you obviously are Carrollton County, you think of the bus crash.
Yeah.
That was like I was very, very young, so it was kind of a thing growing up. You still pass the sign when you drive by, but so growing up in Carroll County, give us like some other things other than that terrible memory.
Yeah. So, like you said, that is a thing. If people know where Carrollton is at all, it's usually that. But we got General Butler State Park. It's kind of a claim to fame, and then also Carrollton is the only point in the state of Kentucky where the two rivers meet, where the Kentucky and the Ohio meet.
Yo.
And so there's a park there called the Point Park that has has had festivals and stuff there ever since I was a kid. Used to be called Blues to the Point. Now it's called Carrollton Bands and Barbecue. We've played that just about every year. Been lucky enough to do that. They keep bringing us back, so we must be doing something right.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah, and tobacco was a big industry. And I remember Bill Clinton came when I was like 7 or 8 to talk about tobacco and agriculture and stuff. And they had us standing out in the cold rain by the Vanity Fair outlet on the side of the road, so we could see him drop by in the limo and wave hello for like 4 hours and go back to school. So
Toss out cigarettes to all the kids.
Yeah, here you go. Don't inhale.
Yeah. So that always stands out to me. So, but yeah, Carrollton it's about halfway between here and Cincinnati. So it's home. But one of the songs I wrote was about that, how no matter how far I go, I can always come back home either physically or via memories. So yeah, I love growing up in Carrollton.
Oh yeah. So how old were you when you moved from Cincy to there?
I think we stayed, if memory serves me correct from what my mom told me, we were in Cincinnati for a couple years. I think till I was like 2, and then she went back home to Carrollton. She's technically from Gent, Kentucky, which it's all those towns are so small. Sometimes I think it might as well be called Carrollton, but definitely gotta give a shout out to Gent. That's where my family's from, is Gent.
All right. So as a young kid, like the before preteen years, what were you up to around there, man? What were you into?
For me, baseball was life. That was my first
right there
love.
with you. I was there with you.
I first started when I was 4 years old playing t-ball. My great-grandparents lived on a road called Mound Hill Road. So when they were babysitting me, it was all about the Cincinnati Reds. I would imagine that I was like Barry Larkin, bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, 2 outs, full count. I'd throw the ball up to myself and, hit a home run to win the game. And so that's what I wanted to do was play baseball, and made it as far as I played club baseball, student ran baseball at Northern Kentucky University. And coincidentally, I almost had a tryout with the Reds. I went to the tryout, and it had been sprinkling the whole day. And I learned the way tryouts work is if it's postponed because of weather, that's it. So we walk up, I got my stuff. I'm like, all right. They're like, oh, tryouts canceled today. I think I was like 23. And I was like, all right, what's the makeup date? And he's like, no makeup date. Next stop is Pittsburgh. And I was like, I cannot make it to Pittsburgh for a tryout. So, kind of let that go. And by that point, I was like 9-10 years into playing guitar. So it was baseball and then a little bit of skateboarding growing up.
Okay, yeah, dude, was heavy into the ball myself. Go Cubs! Come on, dude, a Reds fan. I understand you're from Cincy and close to that area, but that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
they break your heart every year. When they
opening day broke my heart.
Come on, yeah, dude. They had some daggone studs back in the day, though. Yeah, that's awesome. So. Baseball, sports, I'm sure, or just baseball. But I read where you taught yourself how to play guitar.
Yeah. I was. It was kind of ironic because my great grandfather and like all his brothers, a couple of his sons, my uncles played guitar, so I was always around music. But I was pretty shy as a kid, and I know he would have loved. He couldn't have loved anything more than to teach me how to play guitar, but I was just always too nervous to ask him to teach me anything. So he passed away when I was 11, and I was doing percussion in middle school, 6th through 8th grade, and I was doing. I was pretty decent on the bass drum, and so I was thinking, okay, I'll either go to high school and do bass drum, or maybe I'll try my hand at like quints or something. But back then in Carroll County, it was hard to do multiple things in the same time span, like in the same season. So marching band was the same time as baseball. So I let percussion go, and then I was 14, doing baseball. A friend had a guitar at his house, and he taught me how to play the riff to Seven Nation Army. And I spent like a week straight going to his house just trying to get it down. And once I got it down, it was like a switch went off. I was like, this is fun. It's hard, but it's fun. What else can I learn? So then it was, like.
That's hilarious because that's still in the set list. That riff will come out in the jam.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we still got that. Yeah, on the set list, and then it'll be from there it was Iron Man and Deep Purple, Smoke on the Water. Those quintessential riffs that you learn. And it just got fun. And then I was given a little first stacked Walmart guitar that came with a book.
Okay.
And I started just trying to figure it out. And then my great uncle, my great grandfather's brother, who's still around, my Uncle Paul, he had some old books that look like they're from the 60s. So I taught myself a few things out of there, some boogie woogie patterns out of there, and then it just took off from there. So ironically, I grew up around music, but then, ended up being self-taught.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So what made you nervous about asking your grandpa to?
Just being extremely shy. The funny thing is, everybody that knows me, that's seen me grow up, they're still kind of in shock that I'm doing this because, I've had people come up to me and be like, yeah, this was a guy that could barely get him to say 2 words to you when he was a kid, and now he's up on stage, and it's like I don't get it either. And so it was just purely being in my own head, even as a kid, just being too nervous, be like, hey, Papa, show me how to do this, because sometimes I'd go and just kind of strum the strings, and he'd never get mad or anything, but I never specifically just asked him just to be like, show me anything. I just always like to watch and just in my head, I just remember being in my head maybe I'll be bothering him if I ask him. And that is kind of a regret I have. I should have just asked because I know he would have loved it. But,
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I've got kids that I'm always like, who's going to learn how to play guitar? There's a lot of guitars for somebody to inherit. I don't have much else, but yeah, there's something. It would be a cool bonding moment, but man, I'm sure at the end of the day, you soaked up so much knowledge and just hearing a guitar being played when you're growing up, things like that, man. I think kind of soak into you before you know it, especially if you're hearing it young and things like that. So I'm sure there's some pawpaw and why you were able to pick it up. So
yeah, his guy, he was a big Johnny Cash fan, and then his absolute favorite was Roy Clark.
Okay.
Even back when
monster.
Roy Clark had those infomercials where he's selling his guitars from the TV, my papa bought one off there. That was his pride and joy because Roy Clark, that was his guy. That was his main guy. And, grew up listening to like that. Roy Clark, was it Porter Wagner, the Oak Ridge Boys, and then like Fats Domino, Chuck Berry, Buddy Holly. Like I did absorb a lot of that listening from them, from being up there and getting to soak all that in while they were babysitting. So it definitely, there's some stuff that trickled down, I feel like.
Oh hell yeah! Especially with that, that's a good mix of music, that you just mentioned. You got some unbelievable like country picking, other things, and then you got some old soul. You got that type of mix. When I think about what I heard in here tonight, and then when you're when I'm listening to your stuff on Spotify, you can really pick that up. You can pick up this. There's definitely this soul-y vibe, but man, there's a lot of other things going on in what you're doing. It's got some country feel. So I think there is a raw mix of all that stuff that kind of equal Jordan Wilson Coalition.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's the goal. Is like I'm influenced by a lot of things, and so one of the songs we did. We were talking at the studio, and Willie's like, hey, like I told him I was kind of feeling like like a New Jack Swing type of feel for the solo for Red. And then Woody's like, yeah, I'm hearing like a P-Funk thing. I was like, oh, I'll go with that. Forget what I said.
Like, yeah,
go with
I'm taking it back.
Yeah,
all the way
take
back.
it. Yeah, taking it, and it just it came off perfectly. So yeah, even that, I get that stuff from like my mom and grandma. The P-Funk and, early rap and all that. And even some of that I try to incorporate, and I love those sounds too. So like what I call our music is, what is it? I call it alt blues, rock and soul. That's what I call it. It's not I know that's not a cookie cutter genre label to fit on like, to put us in a box anywhere, but that's what I call it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the way the music is heading these ways, because you got so many people that can kind of do that and say, look, I don't know what it is necessarily what it is. I know what it feels like. I know what is it, pop? Is it rock? Is it, who the hell knows? It's just real good music. Not yours in particular, but just it's getting to the point where stuff is, so creative and like bends the line between genres of some people in one song. It's just it makes it so interesting with like where things can go with people writing new shit, and there ain't no telling. But yeah, I love it, man, because it's the same deal. You can't pin you in. There's no, well, he sounds like this person, or all the songs sound the same. There's not that, ton of vibe, ton of feeling. And that's like, you add your songs and then you bring in, somebody like Woody that does so much. You generally would need like 3 keyboard players to do what he does on one keyboard. So it's like,
I don't know about that.
You bring that flavor, the music that you love growing up and playing and hearing and influence. I mean, it really does bring like a musical coalition into existence, man. It's like, Woody, how was it for you when you do a lot? I mean, we've kind of talked about it. We were counting and lost. We were had to take off our shoes and socks to count how many bands you were in. So
right, yeah. Like, I mean, and it covers a lot of genres and just every style of music. But I just, I think Jordan and I have a lot of commonality in those kinds of influences. I do. I mean, I love doing all kinds of different music and genres and branching out and learning to play different styles of music that's not necessarily in my comfort zone. But I think, with this music, there's this core of the rootsy kind of Americana stuff underneath it all. There's the blues, the boogie woogie kind of influence, all of that stuff and the soul, of course, all that stuff Jordan's talking about. Like, you can hear that all in Jordan's songs. And I think we both come from a real appreciation of all that music. I mean, maybe it's to whatever degrees there's been other styles of music that I've been really into at points in my life. But, I think you can hear it in my piano playing, and everybody anybody I play with, I kind of bring a little of that sound. And Jordan's music is a very comfortable place for me. That the soul, and also, there's different ways to express yourself in music, and pop music has its way of expressing itself, or metal has its way of expressing itself, and all of those, the classic country and the blues and the jazz and all of those sort of roots have that kind of a common thread of instrumental expression that goes with it. Of course, there's the soulful lyrics and the story that you're telling, but just the sort of way that the instruments are part of that story in a lot more of a sort of a upfront kind of way than certain styles of music.
Dude, yeah. So I talk about my neighbor all the time. He's this old retired elementary art school teacher. If you saw him, you'd never know it. He looks just like an old cowboy. He's 6'4", so I don't know. He's a tall, big guy, but he's the best dude. But he taught me how to listen to music. And I think the last podcast yesterday, I was talking about how he taught me how to listen to music. And a lot of it is exactly what you were saying. It's like, look, to be able to hear, you can hear lyrics, you can hear music, but there are songs and musicians and artists that can match up what's going on with the lyrics and the music and marry those things to make the song like complete.
That's right.
And I think what you just said is exactly what he always is talking about.
Yeah.
Bringing that.
You're painting a picture or telling a story or setting a stage, and it's all the different colors, that you've got to work with. So, but yeah, I mean, the way, I think that we come from a similar place in that. So Jordan's music is very comfortable, like I was saying. It was also, there's been a real sort of evolution, I think, in Jordan's style since we've been playing together. I'll have to ask Jordan, how long have we been playing together?
I feel like it's been officially 5 or 6 years.
Yeah,
and then
it's been a minute.
Yeah, because it started out shout out my friend and mentor Jimi Davis from Madison, because Jimmy would have me come and sit in, and that's how I met Woody. And then it was basically Woody's like, hey, if I'm not playing with Jimmy or anybody else and I'm free, let me know. I'll come play with you. So we'd have Woody come just fill in for a while, just sit in when he could. And then it just got to a point where Woody was like, hey, if you want me to stick around, when I'm free, I'm here. So I was like, all right, yeah, let's make it official. So,
right.
We've probably played together for almost 10 years and officially 5 or 6.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, it kind of goes back to what you're talking about, your personality. I mean, it's the evolution of your music is just like what you're talking about with your personality, because we would play a lot more covers.
Yeah.
And Jordan, I've known Jordan's a writer. He would bring stuff, and he's had songs. He had his old EP, but he was so nervous to just bring stuff forward.
Yeah.
And it took a lot. We talked about it for a long time. I know we've had deep conversations outside of shows and stuff, just about the process as an artist. Because part of it, you're just putting everything out there. When you're a songwriter, and I feel the same thing. I know it's different as a lyricist. Jordan's writing very personal stories, because that's, I think, one thing that really translates to crowds about the show is you feel like Jordan when you leave the Jordan Wilson Coalition show. Every song has a story, and they're real, and it translates in the music. So that's awesome. But that makes it hard to, as an artist, you gotta rip off that Band-Aid of I'm really exposing myself here.
Yeah.
So we talked about it for a long time, but very recently, the last few years, Jordan's just been cranking the stuff out. The trajectory, I think he's finding his voice and becoming comfortable telling his story and all these stories on the record. So yeah, and I love that. I mean, that's what I'm in it for. I used to do a lot more cover bands too, but that's one of the things I was drawn to about working with Jordan and the rest of the Coalition band. It's great original music. He's got a story, and we got to figure out how to tell this and get this on a record. So,
hell yeah,
that's where we're at.
So, what do you the response to that? Seeing, do you feel that? Do you feel like the more you open up to being vulnerable as a writer and bringing stuff to the band and opening up to, all right, here it is. Do you feel like that's like changing you? Does it make it is it making you like more open and maybe able to step out a little bit bigger and the people that thought this guy doesn't say two words to me growing up? I mean, do you think they would say that now if you were in their life? If somebody meets you, do you think they would still say he's very quiet, he doesn't say, or has it changed you?
I feel like it has changed me to an extent. Like it's forced me out of my comfort zone, which it's like I feel like for me a lot of times like it's necessary for me to be pushed out of my comfort zone because I'll just tend to stay in it, and it's like it'll be nerves and anxiety, like knowing I'm about to be out of my comfort zone. But then it's like once I get past it, it's like, okay, that was nowhere near as bad as I thought. Like, and it was like, oh, that actually felt good. And yeah, Woody's right. Like, and it's I always call Woody, he's the straw that stirs the drink, and this phenomenal musician and even better person. And so like to hear him say that, like it really means a lot. And that's what helped push me out, because like some of those deep talks we had, he was just like, man, like I'm really excited to start doing some more original stuff. So that kind of like, it's like, oh man, like, okay. Cause I'd hear it from people that were, that are like fans of the music, fans of our shows. And they would be like, man, you should do some original stuff. And, me being the, modest to a fault, self-deprecating. Yeah. Okay. I'll gotta try. But then it's like, when I have like my guys saying like, yeah, we want to do some more original stuff. That was like, oh man, like, okay, it's not, it's not just people being nice to me, saying what, like they really want to hear it. And so that, that helped push me out. And I think it's like people that know me growing up is like, they say like, oh yeah, back in the day, like he wouldn't say, and they're like, oh, I get told, they're super proud of me. I think sometimes people that meet me now have a perception of me that like, this is my, like I'm always on like that. So it's almost works the opposite, where like, because I am more reserved in person when I'm not playing, I think they get thrown off by that some now. Like people that are newer in my life are like, oh, so you don't have some rock star mentality and, not, always attention seeking. And like, no, I just like, that's being on stage is the outlet. That's, for the longest time I would do a show and I would be nervous before getting on stage, play the show, be fine, and then get nervous all over again right after. Like it's like I would kind of somehow subconsciously push away all the nervousness while I was playing, and then it would like come back and hit me after, where like like my legs would be shaking after I'm finished playing. Like, and that doesn't happen so much anymore. But yeah. So people now, new people in my life would probably they think the opposite. They're like, oh, you're not, sometimes I've heard people like, oh, we thought you were like arrogant and like, and stuff like that. I'm like, no, quite the opposite. Like when I'm not on stage, like I'm still working on, being more open and not being as reserved. But I think I will say I've come a long way. Like, like doing something like this. Like when I first would have started playing music, within like probably the first 5 years, like I wouldn't imagine myself doing something like this.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
So you guys, you kind of mentioned it, Woody, talking about the evolution. There's a bit of an evolution that you're kind of getting ready to put out there. I think you just released a tune, Port William.
Yeah.
The 28th, which was last Friday.
Mm-hmm.
You got a record coming out soon, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So full length?
Yeah, full length.
First full length?
Yeah, first full length.
Hell yeah, man.
10 songs. Thank you. It's called Counting Green Cars. And we also want to, before I forget, shout out my drummer, Carrie Mefford, and a bass player, Danny Lee Cook. They couldn't be here today because, they're they stay busy just like Woody does too. Carrie was a drummer. Funny thing with Carrie is like if he hears this or sees this, like he's gonna be like, "Why'd you say this?" But he's a drummer for Young Country. So they had a lot of success back in the day. And then Danny is bass player and lead singer for the Newly Dead's zombie band. And then also he had the band
Zombie Rockabilly.
Zombie Rockabilly.
Epic.
Yeah. You definitely got to check out the Newly Dead's. They do the face paint and everything. And then he also back in the day he was in a band that had regional success, Lucky 13. So that's who I started off with first. It was just us as a trio. And they really, their wealth of knowledge and really, I was definitely, green coming into music. I thought it was like the same as like, okay, I'm just going to go from sitting at the house playing to just doing it on a stage. And it was like, nope. And I also learned like I really didn't know songs as well as I thought I knew them. I was like, oh yeah, I know this song. And I was like, no, but I really didn't know all the parts. And so they've been, a big help and mentors as well. But yeah, so we got the album Counting Green Cars coming out. It's coming out May 29th. Awesome. And then we're gonna have a show around that, an album release in Madison. And that's gonna be May 30th at the Red Bicycle Hall.
Awesome.
So super looking forward to that.
May 30th at the Red Bicycle Hall. This will definitely be out about then. So
Yeah.
go get tickets. Get tickets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They're not live yet, but pay attention to the social media and stuff. They'll be live and so make sure you get a ticket. And we're gonna do pre-orders for we want to do vinyl and CDs.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Yeah. So since it's Counting Green Cars, I'm gonna do a limited edition green vinyl. And so that's going to be, it's going to go live tomorrow, April 1st, the pre-orders, and it's going to be $30. It comes with a free CD, and it's going to be a limited run of 100 of these green ones. And I just want to, it's, trying to do like our own little Kickstarter thing and see if we can get some help, I learned how much work and money goes into doing an album. And so, we're trying to see if we can get some help with that. And anybody that gets one, we're super appreciative and, mean a lot to us to, for you guys to have a hand, have a piece in helping us progress and get this going. So, if anybody, that'll go live on April 1st. So, this may come out after that, but
it's coming out after it because I'm gonna get one of those 100 before dude.
Yeah. And I'm just super excited. The concept, Green Cars came to me. So I wrote a song called Green Cars, and this is kind of goes into what Woody was saying about me pouring myself and trying to be vulnerable. So I have an anxiety disorder. I take medication for it. Mm-hmm. I've been off and on medication since like 2012, 2013. And at first I was being treated for depression, and then that wasn't really working. And so through, multiple doctor's visits, it was determined the depression was a byproduct of anxiety. Let's treat the anxiety, and that seemed to help out. And so my therapist is actually based out of Louisville, Dr. Amy Grinnemeyer. I got to shout her out. And so she last year gave me this concept for confirmation bias. I was telling her, like, I just can't get negative self-talk out of my head. I'm always thinking of the worst case scenario. And she said, that's confirmation bias. What you think about is it's like you're going to make it come true. If you're thinking about, somebody said something to you and it means this, it means something negative. If that's what you're thinking about, then if that's what you're telling yourself, that's all you're going to receive. So she said, what I want you to do is when you're driving, look for green cars. Green cars are the least common car color on the road. So green car is going to represent positive thoughts. So this is a way to try to train your brain just look for green cars and see how many you can count. And so I wrote a song about counting green cars. And then that still wasn't the album concept yet. It was just I had the song and I had all these other songs. And then finally I was like, I should make the album about, the concept green cars. So the album's going to be called Counting Green Cars. And it's like, I want to bring a little bit of awareness to mental health things and just, be vulnerable and say, hey, these are my struggles with it. Sometimes I got to drive and try to count green cars just to keep from, thinking I'm, a failure or thinking I'm, this or that, and so it's, it's a big piece of me going into this album as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's killer. Sometimes I got to count green cars to keep myself from driving right into a red one,
Right.
No, I'm just kidding. So that's a killer concept, man.
Yeah.
That's a interesting way to go about reminding yourself you don't suck. you know?
And sometimes, it's like sometimes, there's days where I'm not able to count any, like, they're there and I'll see one, but it's just not clicking. Like, man, I can't shake what I'm feeling. But, there's also the days where it's like, all right, I can count them. I can take my mind somewhere else and, give myself a little bit of grace. So it's about, I'm a perfectionist, or, I'm a recovering perfectionist as well. So it's, I'm trying to, just get past all that and just grow past it.
Oh, yeah. So did you find not only writing that song, but getting this record together as a therapeutic process to help you kind of count your own green cars?
Yeah, absolutely. Because we did the EP. So there's 3 songs from the EP that we recut and put on this album, and then 7 technically brand new songs. And that was another thing I struggled with, because I was like, man, my drummer Kerry, he was suggesting, man, we should redo some of those songs. Since we recorded that EP, our feel is better. The feel is different for the songs. We're locked in more. Let's redo them all. And I was like, no, I don't want to do them. And then I have a band I play with based out of Cincinnati. It's called Knotts, Knotts. And so our keyboard player there, it's an indie pop band, and he's a producer. So I was telling him, like, man, I don't, the idea is like, maybe we should re-record. I was like, I don't want to re-record them. They're already out. He's like, man, like, you're at the level where if you re-record them, they're still going to be brand new to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just re-record them. And I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
So then I had to go back and tell Carrie, I was like, all right, Carrie, you're right. We're going to. So it was a 5-song EP. We redid 3 of them. And so, yeah, it's very therapeutic from that standpoint. From the standpoint of I've been in recording sessions, my first time recording for myself. And so, yeah, it was a really good experience. And we recorded at La La Land. With Ann, right? With Ann.
Shout out to Ann.
Shout out to Ann. And that was an amazing experience, because like Ann is so good at taking what the band is and not straying too far away from that, but also pushing us to do other things or try different ideas. She pushed me to sing as close to where she wouldn't have to do any auto-tuning as possible. So it's like takes where, maybe I thought, okay, I think that's as good as I can do. She's like, hey, let's do one more, like just one more pass, because I think you can get it to where I don't have to tune it at all. And I'm like, all right, let me do it, because I've always think of myself as a guitarist first and not a vocalist. And then people will be like, oh man, you have this amazing voice. I'm like, really?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't know. I think of myself as just a guitar guy, but who happens to sing. And so that was an amazing experience working with Ann.
Yeah, well, part of that might be the mentality as well. A little bit more introverted. You can hide behind a guitar.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that helps a ton as a self diagnosed anxiety guy. I'm with you on that, man. So as far as having anxiety and wanting to like be inside, having a guitar is a game changer.
Yeah.
You take that guitar away, even in studio, like there's something about just having a microphone in front of you, and then all of a sudden you can't sing anymore. It's like, dude, I swear I can sing. But yeah, man, you're definitely a singer. There's no doubt about it.
I appreciate
you got
that,
killer
yeah.
vocals, and your tone is awesome. I mean, you can't teach tone, man. Your tone is killer. So,
Thank you.
You're a singer too. just for confirmation.
Well, I gotta say that session, the La La Land session, was so much fun for me.
Yeah.
It was just like it felt so natural and just it was creative. A lot of the songs. Port William song, like that was pretty much brand new.
Yeah.
It was almost brand new to me. I'd heard it, but like we're really just figuring it out there in the moment and hearing how the sounds are coming together and just inventing in the room. And I love that so much. And the whole session felt like that. Like it flew by, not in the sense of like, oh my God, we have so much to do, but we're just like knocking stuff out and it feels good and we're having a blast doing it. I wish all sessions went like that.
Yeah. And it's funny you mention that because Ann was saying, she's like, Woody's amazing, obviously. It's like, man, but she's like, there's something different about him from the other times I've worked with him in this session. There's the solo, she had said the solo on Red. She said that's the best recorded keys solo that she's ever done. Ever.
No.
Yeah,
I don't know about all that.
That was her words. She's like,
that
cool
was solo. You gotta get this record though, so you can do the solo that I put down on Red because it's something. It's nasty. That's that 70s synth funkadelic kind of thing. And it just landed. Sometimes you're in the studio and something just lands and everybody just knows. Like, that was the one, right?
Yeah.
Like we're done here.
We had that
move
moment.
on to the next.
And that was cool for me to hear, like, that was inspiring and like gave me more confidence. Like, okay, like I have these amazing seasoned players that like enjoy playing with me and are like super into what we're doing. So it's like, okay, I think that's a license to give myself a little bit of credit for, what I'm doing. Because, everybody that I play with, I'm really thankful because they're all so good and seasoned to where they could play anywhere with anybody. So the fact that, Woody's playing with me and enjoying it and stuff like that really means a lot. And sometimes like I'll have people that I meet that, like I'll say his name or something, or say Carrie's name or Danny's name, and like, oh, they play with you? I was like, yeah. He's like, oh man, like that's like you got them playing with you? I'm like, yeah, I know. Like
I got them fooled.
No, dude, when you got pros, all you got to do is bring your game, and you definitely. I think like Woody's not going to waste his time with something that he doesn't feel, man. And like your music's hard not to. You really can kind of dig into everything you're doing as a listener, as a player, I'm sure. So like I'm super excited to hear this record.
Yeah, thank you.
Super excited to hear this record. So for people that do want to catch this record, come see you play live, find the band, find all that stuff, where can they follow you?
So Facebook and Instagram, Jordan A. Wilson Music. And then on all the streaming platforms, Jordan Wilson Coalition is where you can find us, putting up our schedules and everything. That's one thing, people that kind of also know me close, like sometimes I get kind of tunnel vision. So a lot of times like I'm thinking about music and I'm thinking about playing, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, I need to post and tell everybody where we're going to be at next. So I've been working on that. That's something also I'm thankful for the guys for, because, sometimes I'm just so much thinking about songs and thinking about, just the gig itself. I'll be like, hey man, make sure you tell them where we're going to be at next, or, tell them. I was like, yeah, that's right. Facebook, Instagram, Jordan A. Wilson Music, Jordan Wilson Coalition on all your major streaming platforms. And April 1st, if you guys are seeing this after the 1st, the link, it's going to be a Google form. I'm going to put up a link to where everybody can put up their orders for the limited green albums, and it's going to come with a free CD. And then from there, if that goes well, and as we're building more of a cachet, probably end up doing a run of like standard black albums. They'll be a little bit less. I'm thinking price point, like $30 for the limited green one, $26 for the black one, and merch. I got T-shirts and stuff. So every little bit helps.
Absolutely, dude.
This is truly a labor of love. It's harder and harder these days to make a living doing music, and so it's getting bookings and merch and things like that. People believing in us that keep us being able to do this. So I really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, man. What about you, Woody? For people that want to find you and try to find a list of all the bands that you're currently in, where can they?
Oh my gosh,
my brother.
Yeah, I post about all my stuff most of the time. I'm supposed to, right? That's
come on, brother.
I'm Woody Mancini on Instagram, and it's all on there. So I'm posting about Jordan's shows and all the other stuff that I do on there.
Oh yeah. Well, fellas, I really appreciate you coming in. Like I said, man, killer tunes. I'm so excited to hear this record. Hopefully, I'll get up to the May 30th show at
the Red Bicycle Hall in Madison, Indiana, and big shout out to Madison. We're trying to make a push to be Indiana's music city, and so it's a whole community there that's really trying to push everybody out and get recognition for everybody, and having programs to foster songwriting and playing, and it's a real community effort. So definitely grateful. Like Carrollton's my hometown, and very grateful for Carrollton and everything. And but I really got my start musically in Madison. That was like the first place I really kind of caught on, and Jimi helped me out. Jimi Davis, he's like, let me sit in, and he was like, hey, call this person, tell him I sent you. And I got my start at the Off-Broadway Tap Room in Madison, and it's taken off from there. So.
Oh yeah, dude. We have talked about Madison on this podcast a few times, and every time we do, we talk about how good the music scene is.
I saw Vaguely Familiar did one. Yeah, I know those guys. We did a show at the Electric Lady in Madison together last April. So they called me up and asked me to play on that. So super grateful to those guys too.
All right, so for the next, what's your favorite, like, hey, you got to check these guys out or this person out band in Madison?
Let's see. One of my buddies he's from Carrollton, and some of us have been trying to get him on in Madison. He's starting to catch on. A guy named Keegan Hatton. He's a good singer songwriter. Vaguely Familiar. Charles C. A group called Duo, Charles C. and Cam. Charles C. Gang, they're a married couple. They're getting ready to release some music here soon.
Sweet.
And I've jammed with them some. So I definitely got to check out Charles C. and Cam as well. So many to name. I'm sure I'm forgetting folks. So sorry if
yeah, man, you can't name all of Madison, but it's okay. What about you, Woody? An up and comer, man. Give me somebody.
Oh man, let's see. Who's my favorites right now? Future Killer. You know those guys?
Future Killer, I've not heard of.
Okay, they're local.
Crazy.
They're awesome.
Writing it down.
Lacey, Joe Guthrie,
Yep.
Doom Gong.
Yep. Doom Gong's sick.
I don't know. Those don't count as up and comers because
they count good enough. They're
like,
so sick.
Yeah, I don't know. I could keep going on. There's so much great music in the area.
It really is, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we appreciate it, man. I would say Sneezy.
How about that?
Oh my God, we caught Sneezy the other day.
They're Chicago, right? Where are they from?
I think they're from Chicago.
Yeah.
They came through. They said that they had an opening in their schedule, and they were asked if they wanted to do like Pittsburgh or Louisville, and they chose Louisville because they said last year they were at Melwood Tavern, and after the show they looked at each other and went, we realized we could do it for a living because the show was so good in Louisville. So
wow.
I thought, man, that's cool. And they brought the energy. It was really good.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not up and comer or new or anything, but they're badass. So check those out. All right, man. For anybody else, check us out on Instagram, Top Hill Recording, and follow us on or subscribe on YouTube. That would be the best if you could. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Until next
Neil.
time,
Thank
y'all.
you.
Appreciate you.